Here's why you get shy, nervous, or anxious when it comes to speaking Spanish. Now, the reason why most people get shy, nervous, or anxious when they come to speaking Spanish is because they have too much expectation, right? So you can't place too much expectation on yourself. Obviously, like, Spanish is not your native language, right? So of course you're gonna sound a bit funny occasionally with the pronunciation. Of course you're gonna forget some things. Of course you're gonna mess some things up. It's normal because you didn't grow up speaking Spanish, all right? If you grew up speaking Spanish, then and you still don't know that stuff, then yeah, okay, you're a bit of an idiot, right? But it's not your first language, so there's no expectation. However, the reason why you're feeling shy, nervous, and anxious is because you're placing too much expectation on yourself. Like, if you've done a whole year and a half of intense daily Spanish, then okay, maybe you should obviously be better at Spanish. But if you're just starting and you're a beginner, it's okay. It's okay to mess up. It's okay to make mistakes. For example, if you go ice skate, I like to ice skate. The very first time I ice skated, like, I was terrible. I was falling over. I couldn't even get to the other side of the rink. It was really bad. But I knew that because I don't train it. But now I trained it so much that I can skate for 2 hours and I won't fall down. I can go backwards, sideways, etc. So the point I'm making is the FA Cup, the football. If you like football, the FA Cup, right? Or some high school basketball team and the LA Lakers or Miami Heat. Like, the high school basketball team has no chance really of beating the LA Lakers, right? They're the underdogs, so then they can go out and play freely and they might cause an upset or they might do some great stuff because there's no pressure. The pressure comes when you're expected to do something great, okay? The pressure is on when the LA Lakers or the Miami Heat go to, like, Minnesota Vikings or something. I don't really know NBA too well. And they go to a small team and then now the pressure is on them to win because they're the favorites, right? They should win. They have all the stars, they have all the better players, etc. That's where the pressure comes. So again, coming back to Spanish, lower your expectations, okay? You're not supposed to be like speaking like Shakira at the very first go, okay? That's not supposed to happen. Lower your expectations and you'll find you'll be less anxious and you'll actually start to flow better, okay? When you're anxious, when you're shy, when you're ramped up like this, things don't flow so well. But when you're just relaxed and you're calm and you'll have a bit more confidence, you'll start to see the progress will actually be better. You'll actually be speaking better Spanish, okay? So again, lower your expectations because you're not a Spanish native. Whenever I try to learn something new, I know that I'm a newbie, right? So yeah, I want to obviously do the best I can. I want to hit the ground running, but at the end of the day, I'm a newbie. So when it came to learning Spanish and speaking Spanish, like, I knew at the beginning that, yeah, I'm not Spanish, I'm not Latino. So of course, right, I'm not really going to be good at it at the beginning. Like, it's something that I'm going to have to learn. But I used to just throw myself in the deep end and I had that mindset. So that actually allowed me to, find opportunities to speak Spanish. Whenever an opportunity presented itself, I would get excited. I'd want to find new Spanish speakers rather than kind of like, oh, I've been learning Spanish, but this is my time to shine, but I'm too nervous. Like, there were no nerves because I had no expectations. There was no pressure on myself to do good. I just wanted to try out and see how I get on, And I'd tell the people that I'm learning Spanish, and again, I always say this, the reactions that you get from natives, they're not going to be like, oh, you messed up word, or oh. They're not going to make fun of you with Spanish. Like, they're actually the last people to do that, okay? No native, I've hardly ever had a native make fun of my Spanish, okay? Like, hardly ever. So when you realize that, it takes the pressure off of you because they're not actually judging you. The only person judging you is yourself. Okay, the native is not actually judging you. You think they're judging you. You think they're like marking you down like a teacher in the exam. You think they're making fun of you. You think they're laughing at you, but they're not doing any of that. They're just like, really, you're probably the first person they've come across that's for a long time that is actually trying to learn Spanish. And it probably, if anything, you're probably going to inspire them to learn something new or learn a new language, or they're already learning English and they're going to go harder now because they saw you. So it's only a positive thing. But again, you have to get out of your own head. You're in your own way when it comes to speaking with natives because you think that they're judging you. You think that they're making fun of you and laughing at you, but actually it's just you. It's just you. So once you get rid of that, it becomes a lot easier. You get out of your own way and then you'll just see green grass everywhere, and then you just, endless. You just go into more conversation and you'll find yourself practicing more, not shying away from speaking Spanish, but like diving into it head first. Getting past the fear of speaking with people, yeah, that's a big one. So for me, what helped me to get out of the fear zone and, you know, get out of my comfort zone was just literally putting myself, like forcing myself to speak to as many Spanish speakers as possible. So there's a place in London called Elephant and Castle, and it's a small neighborhood in the center of London, close to Waterloo, on the south side of the center of London. And there you have like a couple of small neighborhoods where you walk into the bakery shop, you walk into the coffee shop, they speak to you in Spanish. And I know this, a lot of people know this in London. So if you really want to speak Spanish in London, that's your best bet. You're gonna go there and you're gonna come across a Latino. Like, I would bet my whole life that I'm gonna bump into a Latino there, right? So, and there you get to practice your Spanish. So I just used to throw myself into the deep end. I go have a coffee, I go and just get like a little empanada, and I will be speaking Spanish with the waitress, with the waiters, with the customers, some of the old senores that are standing there. And yeah, that's literally what I used to do. And the more you put yourself into conversations, the more you put yourself in these scenarios, the less daunting it becomes, because then you start to realize all the things I'm telling you, that they don't judge you, and that it's actually like, oh, this is actually not that bad. And then you realize like it was just all in your head, but you need to get yourself into several conversations, putting yourself in there to realize, to come to that realization that actually it's not all that bad. It's not that scary, actually. It's actually pretty chill. And I've met a lot of people that are learning, they're learning English, and they do it most days. Some people do it like every day for like Monday to Friday, right? And they've got pages and pages and pages of stuff. But then when it comes to speaking a conversation, like, hey, how are you? Where are you from? What's your name? They're like, they just like close up like into their shell like a tortoise, like a turtle, right? They just shrink. And it's like, why are you doing that? Or like, let's go to a language exchange. Or now they don't want to go to a language exchange because they don't think that their English is at a good level. I'm like, well, it's a vicious cycle, because if your English is not at a good level, that's because you're not practicing enough. And if you don't practice enough, your English won't ever get to a good level. And it's obviously the same in Spanish, right? If you're too shy to ever go and speak with people in a language exchange, where the main goal is to obviously speak with other people who are speaking Spanish, if you're too shy to do that, then you're not gonna, that means you're not practicing enough. And if you don't practice enough, then you're not gonna get the fluency. So you say, oh, I'm not my level is not so good, so I'm not gonna go. Okay, but your level will never get that good unless you go. So it's like a vicious cycle. It's a never-ending negative cycle, you know. So you have to put yourself in the deep end. You have to put yourself into conversations. But again, the fear is directly linked to expectations. You're afraid of making a mistake. But if you embrace making a mistake and know that you're probably odds on gonna make a mistake, it's probably very, very likely that you will make a mistake. And if you accept that you're not a native and you're from the USA or Canada, Australia, UK, whatever, and you accept that you're gonna make a mistake, then the fear of making a mistake, it disappears. You no longer have that fear. Because when you say you're scared of speaking with natives, you're anxious, could be something that's, in English, the same. Maybe you're just a bit of an introvert, you don't like speaking with new people. I get it, but at the end of the day, Spanish is a communication skill, so you have to speak with people, especially if you don't come from a Spanish family or Latino family. You're not going to have any Spanish people that you already know, so you're going to have to speak with new people. And then when you go to speak with new people, this is practice. You need to get over the fear, okay? You need to just go and speak with people that you don't already know, and that's how you're going to do it. Just to wrap up everything, this video is all about lowering your expectations, okay? Get over the fear of speaking with people by understanding that there is nothing to be fearful of. There's nothing to be scared of, okay? So if you are struggling to practice with people, or maybe speaking with a stranger is a bit too chaotic for you and you'd rather do it in a more of a controlled setting, you can jump on our role play session that we do every single Wednesday, but now we do it 3 times a week. We used to do it only on Wednesdays, and now we do it 3 times a week. And you can practice speaking Spanish with other people that are trying to learn Spanish just like you on the same journey. It's a non-judgmental zone, judgment-free zone. Everybody's on the same mission, everyone's on the same journey. And we also have a native Spanish speaker that runs the sessions, and she also speaks fluent English. So if this sounds like something you want to do, you can go to YoSpanishRoleplay.com, YoSpanishRoleplay.com. The links will be below the video here, and also be sure to check out yospanish.com for anything else that we offer. As always, make sure you like and subscribe the video. Drop a comment if you're feeling it. Share it to your friends if you're also feeling that too, and you can click the post notification so you get a notification every time I upload a video. And I'll see you on the next one. Vamos pues.